Hey, Dolmar Cross here with Real Advisors, and this is The Real Deal. Today I have none other than the great Natalie coming to us from Miami, Florida, South Florida. And this is where she does her real estate deals and transactions. And I wanted to have her share some of the things that she's doing right now to survive and thrive in this marketplace right now. We were all just in Puerto Rico just a few weeks ago, masterminding, sharing some strategic action plans, tips, ideas, and things that we're going to be doing to pivot our business and adapt to this new economy that we're entering into. And I think everything that's been going on since Puerto Rico, right? It's like new information every single day since then, and the situation has gone worse since then, and buyers backing out, lenders backing out of deals. So that's the narrative, and that's the information, that's the feedback we've been getting from not only some of our community members, but also people outside of our community as well, just real estate investors in general. And that's why I wanted to do this call, is to obviously see what some of our members are doing right now to keep their businesses going, what adaptations they're doing in their business to keep things moving forward with positive momentum, and talk about some of the deals that you have going on right now, because there's also talk that, hey, while buyers are backing out of deals and lenders are backing out of deals, there's still investors that are crushing it right now with buyers that are still buying deals. So while there are buyers backing out, there's still buyers that are buying. While lenders are backing out, there's still lenders that are lending. And so some of us get caught in this mindset and get caught up in the negative narrative that's going on out there, and it scares us, makes us worry about the viability of our business. Is it the right thing to be doing right now? And so while there are a lot of new members coming into our community, a lot of people outside that have lost their jobs looking at real estate as a possible option, I want to share, yes, this is a perfect business to be in right now. While there are businesses going out of business, while there are others going bankrupt, there's certain businesses that are thriving right now. And thankfully for us as real estate investors, our industry is one of those that is thriving, can thrive. And if positioned properly, if you have the right knowledge and the right information, and you're deploying the right strategies in this market right now, you can absolutely dominate while also helping homeowners as well as the situation gets worse. So Natalie, thank you for joining me today. So happy to have you on here. And I wanted you to share, first off, talk about yourself a little bit, your business, what you do, and what did you do specifically to adapt to the current situation and an economy that we're in right now?
Yeah, so thank you for having me, Dolmar. It's always great to give back value. So a little bit about me. So my name is Nathali Delgado. I am local to the South Florida market. So that's Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach County. I also virtually wholesale in North Carolina, in Charlotte, and in the Triad area. So I guess I'll start off with, in the beginning when, all of this crisis hit, it wasn't tough, but it was scary, right? It was scary because it was almost like it was almost like the end of the world, and I have to be honest and just share, I was very emotional, and I was it was scary, and I was scared, but once you kind of change the mindset, and that's what I did, it's just like there's always an opportunity in every single cycle, right? That's what I shifted to right away. I would say about 10 days into this whole lockdown, I completely shifted my marketing. One of the first things that I did was I let go of any properties that were already too high. So here in Miami, we do get away with a lot of properties that aren't, let's say, great flip potential, but they'll work for somebody because there's so many people that have cash here. So because it is a major market. So the first thing that I did was I let go of those properties. I didn't want to spend any more marketing dollars on dispositions on those properties, knowing that they weren't, that wasn't the market that we were in. The second thing that I did right away was just aim to market for lower priced properties. So I talked to my main buyers, and the main consensus that I kept getting is that they were scared in buying, but they would buy something that was cheap, So usually I aim for properties with full market value of 300,000. I switched it right away to properties full market value of 200,000, and that's what I've been honing in on. Since here in South Florida, it's a little bit more difficult to get those type of properties right away. All my marketing efforts went to North Carolina, and that's where we've been getting a lot of our new deals under contract. So it was just, quickly shifting. And, North Carolina is a market where the properties are so relatively cheap from a rental standpoint, they always make sense to people. So that's what's really been working with us on that side. And then honestly, I've been seeing a lot of the benefits, I guess you could say, out of all this bad situation. Before I had a physical team here in Miami and a big virtual team. I hire out of Colombia, but what this has really forced us to do is, one, come together and really streamline the communication, because there's really not so much that in-person contact anymore. And it's been going so well. I don't even know if I want to go back to my office. It's been going so well. Everyone enjoys it. The virtual team definitely enjoys it because they're in a lot better communication. And so I don't know if I'm going to go back to my office. It's kind of been like kind of a bit of a blessing in disguise, especially cutting out that overhead if I do, quit the office. As far as what's really been helping us now that we have a completely virtual team, every morning I have an acquisitions meeting at 8:30, and then at 9 a.m. we have a dispositions meeting. And I greatly see the difference as far as our accountability, getting more stuff done in less time, and overall just like the communication. And it's also allowed me to hire new people that are virtual. So I'm currently in the process of hiring a cold caller that I'm quickly going to bring her up to acquisitions. I have one acquisitions manager that is in Colombia, and he's getting his contracts, and obviously that's going to be at a lot lower cost for us. It's also really focused me on streamlining our training process and just almost systemizing everything. Honestly, I've been a lot more organized now that we've been under this lockdown. So it's been a bit of a blessing in disguise. As far as our deals, the first 2 weeks it was really slow, but now like we're ramping back up, and we have a really good deal now that so currently it's a property, we have it on short sale. We got it approved for 145,000, and we have buyers that want to pay us 190 for it.
Nice. That's awesome.
So
What market is that one in?
that is in Broward, so South Florida. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Broward.
Awesome. And you, I want to go back to something you said earlier, is you said you've transitioned to more of a virtual operation now, obviously, because everyone is forced to work from home. We've been forced to be virtual and remote pretty much immediately as soon as we got back from Puerto Rico. We were forced into that situation. And thankfully for us, our business is one of those that's easy to run virtually. We don't have to personally go see the houses ourselves. We don't have to inspect them at all. And there's a lot of things that we can do virtually. We can close deals over the phone. We can get contracts executed virtually. So it's a beautiful thing. And just like you, we were an events company. We had to adapt and pivot very quickly because most of our marketing was targeted to doing live events in big hotels and so forth. And again, overnight, the CDC says, hey, you can't do events for 8 weeks with 50 or more people. We had to cancel 5 different events just like that. That's where our revenue came from. And overnight, we had to pivot very quickly to a complete virtual operation. And we just did a couple of events the last few weeks virtually. We just finished our commercial Empire training event. We have another one coming up this weekend. We did another one the week before that. And the results so far, we're looking at ourselves, like my partners and I are having discussions like, I don't know if we'll ever want to go back to a live format again. We no longer have to worry about paying 30, 60, $100,000 to put on these events, depending on the size of the event, of course. We no longer have to have that overhead budget. We can do everything online. And the funny thing is the students, what I also love about this is this situation is forcing people and helping to train people for us on how to digest information virtually. It's preparing them for online training more. So this form of training, this format is becoming more acceptable now. So doing events virtually and so forth, I think is going to be our future going forward. I don't know if I ever want to do a live event anymore. We probably will. I'm not going to say we're not going to completely do it, but at least we know we don't have to. And so that's cool that you're able to innovate. It sounds like you're innovating in your own business, going to the virtual operation, and you're fine-tuning other parts of the business that were not as fine-tuned before. You're getting rid of a lot of the fluff, a lot of overhead, a lot of the expenses. You're focusing on what's working right now, which is a great thing. I also want to touch on, so you can clarify for me, what was it exactly that you did to shift your mindset? Because you, and I thank you for your honesty as well, by the way, because you can come on here and, like everything's great right now, but I thank you for sharing that. No, I was scared out of my mind for the first couple of weeks because I was, you were worried. What was it that you were worried about? And then specifically, what did you do that was that switch in your mindset for you?
Well, I feel like, I think it's also coming from a woman's point of view. So first, it's just like, for me, it's just like honored where I was at. I also got into another business in the midst of all this. You could kind of call it a side hustle, where it's medical supplies. So I'm on the phone a lot with hospitals. So you're like hearing firsthand how much supplies that they need. And that hit even deeper, right? The fact that there's such a high demand is obviously because there's a lot of people that are sick. So
Yeah.
it was just like coping with those feelings. And then after that, it's just like, listen, like I can't do anything, about what's going on. I can only make the best of it, right? So that happened for me on a Saturday, and really what I spent the day doing was just writing down, the possible opportunities that is in my business, right? So obviously a lot more motivated sellers, which we're starting to see that. At first, there was a lot of fear, and people get paralyzed by fear. So they weren't able to make decisions, but now we're having more and more sellers that are having interesting conversations with us and are willing to sell again, right? So I guess like for that 2 weeks, again, it was kind of at a halt, but now like we're really, really getting a good outcome on our marketing. Second, it's also the buyers, it's just more filtering. So one of the things I actually did that really helped is that I took my buyers list and I sent out an RVM saying like, hey, it's Natalie. I just wanted to let you know I have some deals that I'm selling. If you're still buying in this market, give me a call, right? And I tracked those callbacks. So even though I couldn't get all the callbacks in, I knew who was buying, and then I retargeted, and those are the people I reached out now that I have properties under contract. So at least I got people to answer, like raise their hand and be like, yeah, I'm still an active buyer, and then just focusing on what they need, which the common consensus was that everybody just wants cheap property. So literally all of our spreads have gone down, but because we're aiming for properties 30,000, 40,000, right? I'm not going after the 250 and making a wider spread. So all my assignment fees are anywhere from 5,000 to 15,000, which they used to be up to 28,000,
Gotcha. And
Yeah,
I
it's
want
just
to focus more on something you just mentioned. And I want to hit on something you just mentioned earlier. And I want to make sure I'm correct on this, make sure I heard you correctly. You said that you're getting more sellers reaching out, to you now to sell their properties. Are these sellers that were already in your existing database? Did you have to spend any more money in marketing to get those leads? Or are you saying that you're getting more seller leads without spending any more money on marketing? Like, clarify that for me.
So I am spending more money on marketing because as soon as all this happened, I know my South Florida seller. So South Florida is a bit of a tougher market. Right away, I was like, I want to go to the country. So that's when I started in that Triad area. And so I was reaching out to a new market. So I was opening up a new market in the middle of all this to aim for lower priced properties as well.
Nice, nice. So, like, while others are running scared, while others are not spending right now, you chose to double down on marketing, spend more money on marketing, and open up another market
Yeah.
to expand. Man,
So that was a mixed mindset, you know, that was a mixed mindset. So for me, again, looking at the opportunity, I was like, it's great because one, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to go out of business. So I'm going to be a buyer when a lot of people are closing their doors, which I do know a lot of wholesalers where they're just like, hey, listen, I just rather open up in the end of the year, and that's okay too. But for me, I knew that internally we had a lot more organization and training to do, and that's actually what I'm spending my time on. So I'm looking at it as an investment, you know, like daily we're doing trainings now on sales, and then weekly we're doing trainings, company-wide trainings to overall up level the team and, you know, have them better trained in real estate. So I'm kind of taking this time as well that we're not so busy to go ahead and train the team. So when we ramp back up, it's just gonna it's gonna run very smoothly. And then as far
awesome.
as you know, like I mean, I didn't know that this was going to come, but I knew that the market had to go down. You know, it's normal, it's cyclical. So I already had saved money for resources when the market was going to go down, because I wanted to you know, plan for when it was going to go down so we can still be a company when it comes back up. So yeah, right now I'm hiring and I'm training.
So you talk about your team. How many people are on your team right now? Did you have to let go of anybody at all, or you said you're hiring right now too? So how many people are on your team, and what's the morale of your team as well?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. I feel like I don't know, there's a higher God out there. Right before this, all of this happened in the beginning of March. I actually had already started to cut people that just weren't making the cut anymore. So
Yeah.
I like 3 people at the end of February, beginning of March. I didn't even know that this was coming. I was just like, I need to restructure and have the right people. So that was already going. And then as far as hiring, I got back into cold calling. I think it's a really good time to catch people at home. What my team consists of right now, I have only one person that's here, an acquisitions manager that is here in Miami. The rest of my people are in Colombia, and I have one transactions coordinator in Venezuela. So
Nice,
my
nice.
positions agent is in Bogota. I just hired his sister to help us with marketing. They do a really good team together. As far as for marketing the properties, I've taught him sales. My transactions coordinator is in Venezuela, and my cold caller and my other acquisitions manager is in Bogota. So I put 5 people virtually, one person here in Miami. But now that I've really focused down, I, it's just the same. Like there's really no separation in between a VA and like, let's say, a US team member, because I'm inputting so much into training that I'm just hiring well in Bogota as well. Like I'm hiring people that are very educated. I'm hiring people that have engineering degrees, MBAs. Like I gotta be honest, a lot of my team does a lot better job than I would if I was in that seat. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you want to hire where you're weak, right? Your staff your
Yeah.
weaknesses, and hire people that are smarter than you to help you grow and scale your operations. So that's awesome. And so now I know you have a deal that you're closing right now in the midst of all of this.
Yeah.
Again, during times when people are focused on the negative of lenders backing out and buyers backing out, you still have deals going on. You have a deal right now that you're about to close on. You can close on it today,
Yeah.
but to my understanding, you're renegotiating to get a better price. So tell me about that deal and show us some proof, Natalie.
Yes, I got you. So this deal is actually, I think it's a really good example of everything, for in so many ways. So a little bit about this deal. So this deal, it came in through our marketing channel back in, I want to say February, March, right? This was a short sale. So when the seller called in, he already had an agent, he already had a buyer, right? And we were like, okay, great, you're under contract. We specialize in short sales. Let's just keep following up. Through continuous follow-up, their deal fell apart. So if you ever done a short sale, a lot of people sway like away from short sales, especially if somebody already tried it, because short sales take so long to negotiate. Especially if somebody already tried it and they failed. So it's like, hey, they didn't improve their offer. I'm just gonna, like, not for nothing, I'm gonna come in with a low ball offer and they're gonna say no to me. A lot of people sway away from the short sale. But in general, like, it's just a company culture. Like, let's just still try it. We have the resources, we have the infrastructure. Let's still try it. So that's what we did. The sale date for this short sale was actually April 7th. And I remember it was about 10 days before is that we got the file, right? That he had canceled out with the other agent and the other buyer, and the house was going to go on auction. So I called the bank, PHH, and they're like, well, you can't start a short sale because it's not 30 days out. You have to go ahead and get the sale extended, which means I got to spend money and getting an attorney involved. And I was like, yeah, fine. I'm still gonna open up the file. Expect that delay, right? The extension on the foreclosure. So I'm like getting ready all the paperwork, and then this coronavirus hit, and the court's closed. Yeah. So literally everyone in my team was like, this is a waste of time. My transaction coordinator is like, hey, they said that you need 30 days. Why are we filling out all this paperwork? You know, I'm like, we're still going to try it. I didn't know we were going to shut down, you know, this coronavirus hit. And literally, I think it was like, we put it in April 1st, April 2nd, and the bank's opinion changed completely. Literally from like not picking up my calls, not returning my phone calls back, it being so difficult, to being like, yeah, we'll send a BPO out there right away. Yeah, we'll work with you. We know that the policy is 30 days out, but yeah, we'll work with you. It just completely changed. So short sales usually take even sometimes up to like 4 months to 6 months, right? If you're really going back and forth and the values don't make sense. I got this done. I mean, today's what, April 28th. We got it done in 3 weeks, a short sale.
I was going to ask that because they take so long. With my company, we normally just outsource short sales to a third party negotiation. I don't have time or bandwidth to deal with that. I want to focus on the deals I can get done today. And so I work out a joint venture deal with a third party negotiation company. They handle all of the grunt work of dealing with the short sale negotiations and the banks. And when it's ready, the file's ready, come back to me and say, hey, we got the price, here's what it is, and then I can move forward with my next steps. But the fact that you were able to get this done so quickly, you know why? Is because in this new economy, here are the strategies that are going to come back into play. Because I lived through the last recession. I was part of that. And short sales, REOs, auctions, those are the things that are going to be strategies and techniques you have to learn and study to prepare for what's coming. Creative financing, creative buying. So creative buying and creative selling are going to be huge strategies you got to double down on and learn right now. And so I'm not surprised. In this new economy, it's not just going to be dealing with direct to seller anymore. The banks are going to become the sellers. The banks are going to become the motivated sellers and have to offload these non-performing assets on their books. So the bank sees what's going on out there, like, oh crap, let's accelerate these files and get them off the book. So awesome, man. Awesome.
I think actually I have it here in my notes for next month. For May, we're going to be pulling data for non-owner occupied pre-foreclosures, because the owner occupied ones, everyone wants to stay in their house. There's a lot of foreclosures that are vacant right now, right? So you have the leverage of, they want their money, the courts are closed, so you have the time, and you have the bank helping you expedite the files because they need money, right? Nobody's making their mortgage payments right now. So yeah, it was a blessing. It was a blessing in disguise. I'm gonna actually look up here our approval, so I can show you some proof.
Thank you. This is good stuff. Thank you for sharing. This is really good, and I appreciate you sharing and be transparent as you are right now. I have never, ever heard of a short sale getting approved in 3 weeks.
Me neither.
That's amazing. And so for those of you watching this, Mark my words, short sales, subject to owner financing, REOs, auction properties. That is what you got to learn going forward. In this new market and new economy coming up, these are the things that, these are the avenues, these are the areas in real estate where you're going to want to double down on. Those are where the deals are going to be. Not just the motivated sellers, not just seller direct, but those other sources as well, as far as the banks and those other strategies. So what would normally work for a wholesale deal may not work for all your deals going forward, but sellers may be more open to creative financing strategies now because they want to sell. They're more open-minded to those things. Sellers getting behind on mortgages, opens up opportunities for short sales as well.
Yeah, I mean, while the courts are closed, we have to milk this because, and even once they open, they have to give everyone an extension, at least for 90 days by HUD. They're going to require that. Give me 1 second.
And so you're just stacking your pipeline right now. So while the courthouses are closed, you obviously can't get certain things done, but that's not stopping you. Your idea, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like your idea is to just keep stacking the pipeline with deals so that when the courthouses open up, it's like, boom, I got like 5, 10, 15, 20 deals ready to go right now. It's going to be a great month for you.
Yeah. So I'm using with short sales, you need time, right? And that's usually why people don't do it, because as you're doing a short sale, it's going out for auction and then you waste all your time and money into it, right? So
Yeah.
I'm using the bank, and I'm not looking at the camera because I'm actually looking for the approval in my emails. Here we go. I think this is it. So I'm looking, so basically I'm using this time that the courts are closed, right, to negotiate with the banks because they have no other option. They're not getting money from the seller. The seller already gave up on the loan. The court is not auctioning it off. So I'm like their best option right now.
Amazing.
This is my short sale approval. So you can see here the approved sales price is 145. And they want us to close by the end of next month, which means that we just got this in. We verbally had got it in about a week ago, and we just got this in on the 26th, so 2 days ago. So we have offers for 190. If you want, I can show you the offer too. We've been going back and forth with it. We have offers for 190 for it. And but this was pretty much pre-COVID, I feel like. So I'm going back and I'm renegotiating for 110. Even if I get it for 130, 120, which I have a good feeling, I think I'm going to get it for 110. It's still a sweet deal.
Oh my gosh. Right now, it's already a great deal with the buyer that you have. You're going to make what, $45,000, it sounds like?
Yeah.
And you feel pretty confident the bank will probably take a reduction on the 145, which will add more money to your pockets. So that's awesome.
Yeah, because when they went out and did this BPO, it was in the beginning of the month. In the beginning of the month, it was in, kind of in the beginning wave of all this. So I have every grounds to stand on to say that the market has gone down, since the BPO has come up, and I have also sales to prove it. So I'm going back with a value dispute. I should be getting notice by the end of next week. And then we have 2 buyers right now that are interested at 190. We're just going back and forth on executing whoever executes the contract first. But on a bad day, it's a $45,000 spread. On a good day, it's a much higher spread. So hopefully,
this is awesome.
Yeah, so
this is awesome.
You can see my company's name. You can see my company's name. The approved price is 145. We're also in on the realtor commissions because I'm licensed as well. So I do get half of this commission as well. And it was really sweet because we were able to get the seller $10,000 in move out assistance as well.
That's the beautiful thing about this too, is, you're doing deals today, you're making money today. But in the coming weeks and months, and I say this on all the calls, because it's important for people to understand this, it's important for this to be drilled into their heads, is that the situation is going to get worse, unfortunately, for many Americans. Lots of people file for unemployment. You can see the news and the crazy, record-breaking reports on that. And so financially, there are a lot of people in a bad situation right now. And when people get into situations like this, they start offloading things. They start selling cars. They start selling jewelry. They start selling different assets. They start selling houses because they have to, right? They need the money. And so us as investors in our industry, we are able to help these people put some money in their pockets so that they can not have to stress about the burden of the debt and the bills that are piling up that they can no longer afford because they have no money coming in from work. So you're able to help them put some money in their pockets so they can, move on with their lives and get themselves in a better situation, in a situation that they can afford. And then you can also put some money in your pocket as well. There's nothing wrong with getting paid to help and support others. So for us as real estate investors, this is a unique opportunity right now in this climate. And like I said, as the situation gets worse, there's going to be floods of more opportunity. I mean, opportunity is just going to increase. It's huge opportunity right now. And this is the time when, you add another zero to your net worth. If you do it right, if you continue to educate yourself, you continue to focus your efforts, this is the time where every single one of you can literally add a zero to your net worth. So my good friend Tim says, don't waste a good recession. Now is the time to double down. So this is good stuff, Natalie.
Definitely, definitely. I
Are you
can
excited?
you the offer for 190 that we've been going back
Okay.
and forth, so you can kind of see the proof as far as that as well. And the reason, so I'm kind of going back and forth. The reason why we haven't really executed or completely pushed forward with an offer is because if I get a reduction, I have to restructure my B2C as well. So that's why I'm waiting on the bank, so I know at the end what I have to do, because I do have a deed restriction on it for more than 120%. So I'm waiting for what the end price is going to be to see how I'm going to structure the deal. And with these short sales, you do have to double close on them, but you can see here.
So the deed restriction, can you share more about that for those newbies watching this video? Share what that is, because I had to deal with the same thing when I was buying a lot of REOs in the last recession. The banks would most times put some type of resale restriction on selling a house. It could be a resale restriction on time. So they'd say, hey, you can't sell the house for X amount of days for a profit. Or sometimes they'll say, hey, you can't sell the house for $1 more than what you bought it for. And they just put all these different crazy restrictions in there, which prevented you from making money in a timely amount of time, especially if you're taking down the asset and you have holding costs with loans and so forth, right? It just affects things. So we were able to find workarounds to still get these deals done. And so I want you to share for those watching this video, especially the new members coming into the community, newbies that may be watching this video, looking at this as a real estate as an option. What restrictions are you talking about specifically? What does that mean for you? And how are you going to get around that?
So, so every investor has their own restrictions, right? And the whole mindset is like, if they're taking a loss on the money that they lent out, or it's not really a loss, it's a tax cut, then they don't want you to benefit right away. That's really what it is. So some banks put restriction on the deed. So when you go and you're purchasing the property, they'll put a paragraph saying deed restriction and then what they want you to abide by. This specific one, it comes on the short sale approval. We always look for it. And basically it puts a restriction on how fast or how much you can sell it for. So most of them are, within 90 days, you can't sell it for more than 120%, which is the 20-90 rule is what we call it. So You can sell it right away, but it can't be more than 20%, right? Which 20% is great, right? But when you're dealing with a deal like this, 20% is like 174-ish. So that's what we're structuring on this deal. Because we have an offer for 190 and we can't sell it, right? And then I also don't want to hold the property for 90 days. I don't want to own the property for 90 days. So do you want me to share how we're going around this one?
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely.
the way that we're going around this one is basically the end sales price is 190, but on the HUD it can't say more than 174, right? Or 120% of whatever I buy it for, which is why we haven't wrapped it up. So if it's 145 my approval amount, I can't sell it for more than 174, and obviously I have somebody offering me 190. So that's a lot of money to leave on the table, and especially when it's a 0-day inspection, right? So once they're in, they're in. The way that we're structuring it, we're planning on structuring it is by making it a net sales contract. So they have to give me 174 net, which forces them to pay for any closing cost on top of that. And we'll push all the closing costs on their side, making our net sweeter, better. We're also putting on their side all the realtors' commissions because they did come with a realtor. And I'm even taking a listing agent commission on it as well. So we're making it a net contract and then adding a lot more fees on their side where we're still collecting. I think we're also going to have to put in like a project management fee that the buyer's going to have to pay as well to collect the full amount to get up to the 190. And the buyers don't care. I mean, they're at the end, they're getting their deal. This property is worth about 270. So they're getting a great deal on their end. They've already gone to see the property, they want it, and they're buying cash. So they don't care about which way they structure it. They just want to get to the 190 at the end of the day.
Awesome. Awesome. It's pretty creative. Awesome. Good stuff, Natalie. And you were going to share so this is the sales or purchase agreement for your buyer?
Yeah, this is my B2C purchase agreement. So you can see here they're offering 190. This is their original offer. And the main thing that you look for is 190 and that it's 0-day inspection with any deal that you're looking to flip. Once you have a buyer on the end, you want to make sure they're going to stay in there. So we have two like this going on right now. We have two offers the same, but we're kind of waiting to see what reduction I get. If I get it for 110, then I have to restructure their contract, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we haven't signed a B2C yet.
No, it makes sense. You'll have to add the additional fees in the agreement. Make sure you make that additional spread. So it makes perfect sense. Man, congratulations. This is amazing. Kudos to you to have multiple buyers on the same deal, basically going at it. So I'm assuming whoever brings, once you get the final numbers, whoever brings the deposit first gets the deal. Whoever can close the fastest gets the deal. And you have two people going at each other, so if one backs out, you have a backup buyer as well. And so that's amazing. And thank you for sharing this as well. So with your buyer specifically, from an earlier conversation, from the earlier part of the conversation, you said that you reached out to all of your buyers, you had conversations with all of them, found out what every single one of them are looking to buy right now in today's market. First of all, find out if they're still buying, and then get clarity on it. What is their exact criteria right now? And you just honed in on what that criteria was. You started sourcing deals that met that criteria, and you're bringing those deals to your buyers. What I love about wholesaling, because this is one of the strategies that works in any market cycle, as you know, is as the buyers get tighter on their buy price, as a wholesaler, you can get tighter on your acquisitions price. You just adapt as the market changes, whether it's going down or up. You just adapt with your acquisitions to match what buyers are actually paying in that market on that given day, in that given time, in that moment. Yeah. It's, our friend says it all the time. It's like day trading. You just adapt in real time. As the market shifts, you shift. And so that's what I love about wholesaling. It's a unique strategy that works in any market cycle, as long as you have the right knowledge, as long as you know what you're doing. And thank you so much for sharing this today. Proven, pulling the curtain back and proven, showing the real that you are getting deals done today, right now, you're doubling down on your marketing, you've expanded into a brand new marketplace,
And
while all of this, huh?
and it's going really well.
There you go. And so you've expanded into a new marketplace. It's going well, even in spite of all of the negative news from the media and so forth out there, and people running scared. Like, you are doing well in this business. So I think this was important to share with our community. I want to reach out to more of our community members like you that are looking at this as a real opportunity. They've changed their mindset, and just like you were struggling with this in the early stages of this, this is why we're doing this. It's because I know others right now are struggling with the mindset stuff. And I remember, again, years ago, I did it. I struggled with the mindset stuff. In fact, thank God it only took you 2 weeks to get out of it. Natalie, it took me 2 years to get out of that mindset because I was so beaten down, and I chose to remove myself from my inner circle of like-minded people that could have helped me. I became depressed and I removed myself. Unlike you, you stayed connected to our group, our community, and you're listening to these coaching calls. You're seeing what other people are doing. You're asking questions, collaborating with other people. And so that helped to shift your mindset very quickly. Where for me, it didn't, because I went private. I stuck my head in a hole. I was like, this is ridiculous. And I lost 2 years of time. And so my hope is that this video, someone watches this video, even if they were scared, worried like you were, they are able to snap out of it quickly, just like you were able to, and not lose a year or 2 years or even 6 months or a couple of months like I did back then, because my mindset was all it took for me to shift and get back in the game. That's all it was my mindset and the right knowledge of how to adapt to what's working today.
Yeah, it's all mindset. I mean, I'll kind of end with this. When it comes to wholesaling, one thing that I always keep in mind, especially because we go through this even through a regular market, like you only need one buyer for a property. Like you only need one yes. You don't need multiple yeses. You only need one yes. So if you focus in on, and that's how like I focus my team, like we only need one person to say yes, and we only need one buyer to say yes. It really kind of clears things out. And I think there's a lot of opportunity. I mean, for the people getting in, the market, what it was 3 months ago, it was highly saturated. And like you had so many sellers that had crazy offers, and they were legit, right? Like they were from hedge funds. They were looking for people that were looking to buy and hold so they can buy higher, right? But all those people were cleared out, right? And 3 months ago, when you went in to negotiate, it's like, well, I got a higher offer. Like, what do you negotiate with? Like, well, I'm a real buyer, and here are your comps. Like, they're like, no, where's the money, right? Nowadays, like you have so many things that you can go back on. Like, hey, the economy, I need to buy at this number because the economy is going down. I always tell them, like, right now I'm catching a falling knife, but I'm a real estate professional. I have to buy through when the market is up and when the market is down. And that's why I'm still making you an offer on the property, but I do have to buy at a price where it makes sense, right? So it's a lot more logical decisions being made, and a lot of really good negotiation tactics that you can use versus what the market was 3 months ago, where like everybody was getting over asking price offers. And not only that, but the retail market is still going like normal. Like my rehabs are still under contract. They're just taking a little bit longer because people are working from home, but that's just a regular market that's still going. I don't know for how long it'll go, but end buyers are still buying.
That was such a great point that you brought up. And I'm glad you brought it up towards the end of this call, because it's such a good point to really bring home the point that there's not only are there going to be more sellers in the marketplace, but it's this economy right now has wiped out a lot of the competition. And so there's not only more deal flow from sellers, but there's also more opportunity, for you as well, because there's not that many competition or competitors going for the same deal. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of buyers making crazy, ridiculously high offers with these sellers anymore. And thanks to the media, in many ways, it's helping the conversation that you're having with the sellers be a lot easier as well. to be able to get the price you need. So great points. And so we'll go ahead and wrap it with that. Again, thank you so much for your time today. You were amazing. Congratulations on your success. And I'm wishing you blessings and continued success in the future, especially with your expansion into new marketplaces as well. And my hope is that your story, your case study, your reveal today will help to inspire others that are looking at real estate as a true opportunity for them. And for those that are actively doing real estate right now, it would inspire them to double down, to really focus on what matters, to get rid of all the noise and external forces that may be affecting their mindset and their business, and realize that this is a real opportunity. Focus on revenue generating tasks only. Get rid of the things that are not working in your business right now. It seems to be a common theme that I've heard from all of the people I've interviewed so far, is they're tweaking things, they're innovating, right? They're looking at things that are working better now and getting rid of what's not working anymore. It could be deals, it could be some of their processes are not working anymore, right?
Mhm.
So this is the time to innovate, be lean, but stay profitable as well. So congratulations. I'm super happy, super proud of you. Any final words before we leave?
I mean, I just hope that it inspires someone. I hope that it really helps, somebody that's watching this to really get into real estate. And one is the person who's wanting to get in real estate, and the other is really what I'm looking to reach out to is the person who's in real estate and having a really tough time, they're not only feeling the emotional downturn, but really the financial downturn, right? When you're running a business that's not running, it's just kind of looking at it and shifting it. The first thing that I did was get out of South Florida because the properties are very high. And go virtual.
There you go. You didn't just sit back and take it. You adapted. You shifted with the marketplace immediately, and you got to do it fast. So protect your mind, shift and adapt quickly. Get rid of all the crazy high expenses and focus on revenue. Awesome. Thank you so much, Natalie. You've been amazing. I really appreciate you. All right. That's the real deal. Signing off.